All right. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the RPG After Years, your weekly show covering all things RPGs, past, present, and the future. I'm Jay.
And I'm Rich.
And I am Scott.
So this is episode 23. Today we are going to talk about next-gen gaming and beyond, from the PS5, SSDs, and even VR. So let's see where our imaginations can take us. But before we do that, we should probably catch up a bit. So, Rich, what you been up to, my friend?
Oh man, it's been so busy, but I've done a little bit of gaming. I have played a little bit of Final Fantasy X.
Oh, nice.
I still don't like it.
Or not so nice.
Okay. Well, all right. I don't mind it. It's just I remember why I don't like it so much. Yuna's voice actor is terrible.
I think she's really good, but for the most part,
I think
there's a couple wonky lines, but
I think in the very beginning she's just very bad. I think there's a reason. I don't know. Maybe she just seems like very monotoned. I don't like it.
She's pretty mousy.
Yeah. Well, I think probably when the game starts going on, it does. But at first, she just kind of annoyed me. So there's that. Not bad. I like it. It's okay.
On the topic of her voice, I remember like later on in the game, she starts to get says some pretty tough lines, quote unquote, that are pretty profound. And for me, it was always hard to feel like that was something serious because it was like Mickey Mouse saying it. And I'm like,
where are you?
Oh, you. I just got to Kilika and just fought Sin.
Still pretty early.
Yeah, I'm way early. Been playing a little bit of Pokemon Sword. Nice. Trying to nail that out. I like that. And then I have played a little bit of Pokemon Silver.
I thought you were going to say Shield, and I was going to be like, why?
No, Silver.
The OG Silver?
Yeah.
Or Soul Silver?
Yep.
Wait, which one?
Which one?
Just the OG, the original Silver.
Man.
Okay.
That's why?
On my Game Boy. I don't know. Because I like the original ones. And then I may go back to the other ones too, because I've got them.
Neat.
Like I've got red, blue, and...
So where are you in Sword?
Sword, I just defeated, what was it, the Dragon Gym guy, and I finished that lady that, wait, I think I beat that, what the hell, where am I?
How many badges do you have?
I have all badges. They're all done. I'm getting ready to fight the big dude. I know I'm getting ready to fight Leon. I finished the fight with the chairman's secretary. So I finished that. And I was heading up to the one, up the mountains.
Gotcha.
Into the new town. Did all that stuff. I think I'm almost ready to fight him.
Corey's picked Shield back up just recently. And he just finished the 3rd gym. But maybe he can pick the pace up and... Maybe we can have a review on those games soon. I know, Jay, you made it all the way to the end as well and then restarted.
Yeah, and Megan has made it all the way through. and has almost caught all of the Pokemon in the expansion pack too.
Whoa.
I haven't even got to the expansion pack yet. I still gotta get to that.
How is the expansion, Jay?
It is pretty good. It's more content than I've seen like post game in a Pokemon game before.
I don't think have they ever done DLC before, as far as like a new place to go and all that.
On Pokemon?
Yeah.
No.
I don't even first time.
I can't even remember them doing anything like that for like Sun and Moon or anything.
Well, they do the Ultra Sun and Moon or the like other versions. So that's the only thing I think of.
That's true. That's sort of like DLC. Pay
Yeah.
more money. But speaking about Final Fantasy X, I don't know where Bill is in that, but you know, I recently beat it again. So hopefully we'll get a review on that before too long as well. And
we'll see.
Jay probably even remembers it well enough that he could be on.
Yes. Unfortunately, my sister has my copy of the remaster, so I will not be playing it. But I will sit on the review.
Nice. Okay. Well, as for was there anything else that you've been playing or anything?
No.
Okay.
Go for it.
I'm still doing Ring Fit Adventure. I finished World 19 last time, I think. So getting really close to the end. There's 23 worlds. Still having fun with that, but not much else to say. Starting to see like there's a few things that really annoy me about the game, just the way it's structured, and it's like seems to be getting worse the farther I get in it. But I guess I'll save that for the review.
Real quick, I imagine you shouldn't expect more from a fitness game, though. Like, I'm surprised that you seem to have liked it so far.
It's really fun, and I won't say the story is like Shakespeare or anything, but like the writing is really good. Like there's a lot of humor in a lot of the dialogue. My main complaint is that like there are a bunch of side quests in the game, and a lot of times they boil down to redoing something you've already done, which can be really grating if you like do, you know, a 30-minute or a fitness set that takes like 20 minutes and then a side quest unlocks. It's like, do this fitness set. It's like, God damn it. But my complaints are minor overall about the game. I still love it. Corey and I are still playing through in co-op New Super Mario Brothers U. We just got to World 8 last night. So that's the final world, although there is a secret world. So I expect to be able to say we finished that in the next couple weeks. Still playing Persona 5 Royal. We're still in the middle of the penultimate palace. I don't want to say whose palace it is because it's kind of spoilery. But it's the casino palace. And I think we're almost at the end of that. And I think in the original P5, there was only one more palace after that. So getting close to where the first game ended. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that I found my copy of the regular Persona 5 and thought about playing it again, but I need to know how quickly I can actually beat it.
I think we're like 125 hours in, and I'm sure you could get through it faster than that, but
it's too long for Jay.
That's like an entire year of gaming for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of worried because in order to unlock the new semester, you have to reach certain confidant ranks with a few characters. And Corey's got that confidant rank with 2 out of the 3 people, but there's still one character he needs to get another rank or 2 with. And it's kind of bullshit because just the way the game is structured, a lot of times it's like, it makes it really hard to actually meet up with certain characters as far as like finding them on the right day or knowing their schedule and all that. Because unless they invite you, then you got to kind of like hunt them down. So
we'll do better.
Just
do better.
What's crazy is my friend Andrew has beaten the first, like the original Persona 5, like a handful of times. And then he got the Royal Edition and beat it. And then forgot to do something to get like the strongest Persona that you can get. And so he did a replay of it.
Jesus, I can't imagine.
and I feel like he did it like within a week.
Wow.
That's
Did he not sleep?
It's impressive. I'm not sure.
I know if that in the original version, it was like impossible to max out your confidant rank with every character, but I think they made it to where it is possible in this new version. But you would need that's like Final Fantasy X to 100% levels of like, you couldn't do it without a guide, I don't think. So yeah, but that's continuing on. It's still fun, although there's been a few rage-inducing incidents with Corey recently about like forgetting to save, or like, you guys know, if Joker dies, then that's game over automatically for some reason.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
I hate
That's
that
dumb.
mechanic. Yeah.
Does that happen in the original one?
I don't know. I would assume so. Apparently it's a Persona thing.
Huh.
It's like FF13, where like if the character you're controlling dies, then game over. One of the best improvements 13.2 did was letting you just like switching you to the still alive character automatically.
That sucks.
But I digress. Still playing God of War 2018. I think we're getting pretty far along now. I think we only got like 4 or 5 chapters left.
You better love it.
I like it. I'm still not in love with it though, to be honest. But it's a lot of fun. We got the weapon, the new weapon you get after the axe, and that I think that has made the combat significantly more fun.
Is that RPG enough to record on the main show?
I think so.
Cool.
I mean, if we're being honest, it's not an RPG, I wouldn't say, but we
Well,
play fast and loose here.
If Final Fantasy VII was an RPG, this is total. God of War 2018 is an RPG.
You don't select commands from a menu in God of War, though. Also, speaking of really beautiful next-gen high-tech games, we're still in the middle of The Last of Us Part 2. I can't remember which chapter we're in exactly, but without being too spoilery, we have started playing as a different character other than Ellie, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But the game is a lot longer than the first one. It's like, I feel like I would have beat the game a long time ago, time-wise, because we just finished a replay of the first one not that long ago. It only took like 13 hours, and we weren't like rushing through it necessarily. But I still like it a lot, and I'm looking forward to talking about that eventually. I do not think that is an RPG in any way in the imagination, other than I guess there's sort of a skill tree.
I wonder if so those real popular games you might want to talk about if we want to do it as bonus episodes or just main episodes, just because of the popularity behind it. But
yeah, we're playing through it with my friend Lauren, so it's like we would have been done with that already, but it's just like having a session once or twice a week. So, and then finally for JRP July years, I'm playing Final Fantasy V. I just finished the Library of the Ancients last time I played, the first time you go there. And I'm liking it so far. It's very like cookie cutter Final Fantasy, or just like things happen plot wise out of no reason. Bill says it gets better later. But I'm enjoying it. It's just I'm not getting through it as fast as I was hoping. I'm starting to think I won't finish it in July. But I'm trying. Just like anytime I have free time, it's either that or I'm trying to do like side dev projects, and it's like but yeah, so that's what I've been doing this past week. As you guys know, I have that shotgun approach to gaming, just play a little bit of everything. So what about you, Jay?
So let's see. So I guess the update since the last time I was on an episode, not much. Final Fantasy V and a little bit of the Pokemon expansion pack, but on Megan's save file. I am right after I'm on the path to the 3rd crystal on 5. I haven't got much farther since the last time I mentioned to you in Slack. I don't mind it. I'm a little bugged out by the graphics for it on the iPhone. They feel really weird to me. And yeah, it does feel like like really old school Final
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy. Like a meteor fell for no reason. There's no explanations behind it. It was like, okay, it's just happening. Crystals are being destroyed. The world is in calamity. All right.
You know, the normal stuff.
For the graphics, it doesn't bother me as much just because I've never played 5 before, and I don't really think that there's a version that looks better. The GBA, arguably, but
yeah.
I did do the. Go ahead.
I was just going to continue on with my catch up. What were you gonna say, Scott? I will let you finish.
The fire powered ship, which you're gonna get to soon. There's a part where you go through the Karnak castle after that while it's about to explode, and you have 10 minutes to get through it. That part made me want to like kill myself because there's a achievement for finding every chest, and there's like 13 chests in that little section, and they all have monsters in them. So I had to like really tweak my setup a lot. It took me like 7 tries to get them all.
I'll probably skip that. I will not.
Yeah,
I will not get everything.
Unless you're a completionist. I was raging. Anyway, what else?
The Pokemon expansion, Isle of Armor. It's pretty cool. Like I had mentioned in earlier in Rich's catch up, they introduced a handful of new Pokemon that are only on the Isle of Armor. I don't know, with the Pokemon Sword and Shield, and we'll probably do a review on it. I just feel like they missed the mark. Like they could have done a whole lot better, but I feel like it's a very Pokemon Company, a Game Freak kind of thing to just miss the mark. Like have all these great ideas and just, veer left a little too much.
I think that's the general sentiment among fans.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a blah.
Yeah. It's like, I want to love it and I like it, but I want to love it.
Do you want some more of it?
I'm okay. Thanks though. But yeah, outside of that, it's been a crazy month. It was a death in the family that we had to travel 2 weekends for.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, it kind of a long time coming. He had like late stage Alzheimer's and was deteriorating pretty fast, but we were able to make it in time for Megan to spend a decent amount of time, like enough time before he ended up passing, and then we had to travel back for the funeral and whatnot. Outside of that, work's a little crazy. So I'm like halfway on this new project, halfway on the old project that I've been on, which has been pretty hectic. And then we've been doing like renovations in our house, like ripping up all the carpet and putting down new flooring. So we've been doing that all by ourselves.
And your septic tank exploded, right?
I don't know what's going on. There's a drain in my basement, and every time we run the washer, our sewage, like every time the washer drains, sewage comes out of that drain in the basement. And so I have to get a hold of somebody who doesn't suck on Monday to come and, I don't know, stick some stuff down into it. I tried like a heavy duty sewage drain declogger stuff, but it did nothing. And that sucks because we can't run the washer, and there's just, sewage that's just kind of hanging out in my basement.
Rich, why don't you go take a look at that?
I don't know none of that crap. I was gonna say the same thing. Just put some of the stuff down there, see what happens.
I emptied an entire entire gallon, a whole big old container of like heavy duty sewage line cleaner. Nothing. Didn't even budget. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna deal with that and probably have to sell my house or burn it down or something.
Why not both?
I'm sure it'd be fine. I look at the positive side of it. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. It's fixable.
Yeah, I hope so.
Fixable.
It's gonna be something stupid. It's gonna be like something really stupid that's clogging it, and I'm gonna be like, this sucks.
Yep, that happens to me occasionally with the house.
Maybe that should be a segment, like what happened with the sewage every week.
Well, hopefully, I only have one more update on it, and then it's all smooth flushing from there.
And on that note, want to tell us about the patron, Jay?
I can tell us about the patrons and the Patreon benefits. So we have a Patreon, and there is early episode access, ad-free episodes. You can participate in live video versions. For example, this version is streaming to like a super secret YouTube live stream. At least I think it's unlisted, at least
for now.
Yep. And then we also have the aftercast and extra reviews, where we, every now and then we'll record some random stuff and throw it up there for the patrons. Yeah. So check that out. Scott, you want to talk to us a bit about JRPG July years?
Yep. So first of all, you can get to the Patreon at patreon.com/RPG after years. But yeah,
you just look in the episode description, guys. Links are there.
Right. So yeah, JRPG July years has officially kicked off. I think it's going well. We got lots of people participating. The hosts of JRPG July years actually did a shout out to us. They mentioned us on their website, and I think they've even like posted all of our people participating and like who is playing what. So that's exciting.
Nice.
And I think people are really enjoying it so far. We sort of already talked about our progress in the various JRPG July years thing.
I think this is kind of funny because we're just playing games again.
Yeah, right. Community play along. Yeah. So for those that don't know, it's basically an event that runs all through July. Basically, you just play JRPGs and post and tweet about it. You just use the hashtag on Twitter, JRPG July and JRPG July years, so we know like you're one of us.
One of us.
And tag the show too, because I try to like go on there and retweet everybody's like updates and stuff. But anyway, so I asked for some updates before last night, so I'm just gonna run through some of those. Soda X Bread, Soda Cross Bread. We'll never actually remember how his name is pronounced, but
Soda by Bread.
Soda by Bread.
Construction style.
He says, I'm approximately nowhere. Haven't started thanks to some personal issues. What time to get on it, man?
Sorry to hear about those personal issues.
It was funny because somebody else said that they were like lagging behind, and then I saw him say like, no excuses. And I was like, wait a minute. Punch Drunk Dave, he has finished Vandal Hearts, and Vandal Hearts 2 is underway. Colin has finished Legends of Mana, and he started up Ever Oasis, which I think Ever Oasis is a 3DS game. Am I right about that?
Oh, it might be.
No idea. It sounds like it would be.
Yeah. So some of these people are like,
I have so many games on my 3DS that I want to play. So I need to take like an entire month off of life.
I'm surprised like some of these people have already finished games, and meanwhile I'm like in the first like 10 hours of mine. But
I'm not even that far in mine, so
womp womp.
Oops.
Kabaski, he has finished chapter 3 in Radiant Historia, which weren't you playing that at one point, Jay?
Yes, and then my special 2DS was destroyed, and I lost the save file, and then I got another special 2DS and have it again, but I do not want to replay the 10 hours that I got to on the lost save file.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Metal Matt J, he's made it to chapter 2 of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is that Fire Emblem or Shin Megami Tensei dance rhythm game crossover. Which is, yeah, that's a thing.
Nope.
Abrac, no. Assault Power X, I don't know who that is. I think he must have changed his Discord name.
He's a new guy.
Oh,
he's new.
Oh yeah, I remember when he came in.
Yeah.
Hey, new guy.
He keeps getting welcome to the show in the community. He says Lee keeps distracting him. Abrac is 40% done with Xenogears, and he's 26 hours in. And then scrolling down a little bit here, I thought I put this somewhere. Oh yeah. Lulu is progressing in Trials of Mana. Angry Ass Black Dude finished Suikoden, and he's now in the middle of Suikoden 2. Choidal Powers in the middle of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Caslow 25 is playing through FF6 A Brave New World on his Twitch streams. Mini BT finished Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. I was surprised we have like 2 different people playing Mario and Luigi games.
This is an RPG show. What are everybody doing playing Mario for?
Those are RPGs.
I know.
They have turn-based battles, okay?
So is Paper Mario the Origami King, apparently. So
that's true. Capsule J, not to be confused with our J.
Or Metal Matt J.
He finished Chantalise on his stream, and he is now 20 hours into Nier Automata. And for some reason, last night, Corey threw in their update, somewhat buzzed, next stop drunk. And I was like, that's not a JRPG, babe. Metal Matt J said, not with that attitude.
That's awesome.
Let's see. RPGs in death metal. He's in the ocean world and Final Fantasy Legend. He says he's ecstatic about that. I can't imagine why. And then Disa's been playing Destiny Connect. She's getting close to the end of that. And I think that's about it. So we got lots of people playing JRPGs, and the event seems to be going well. Everybody seems to be enjoying it. So keep tweeting out your progress and giving us updates, and we'll continue monitoring the situation as July progresses. And yeah, so that's it for that. So the review competition, as everybody knows, we're having a competition, or we were having it, ended yesterday, to where if you submitted a 5-star review on Stitcher or Apple Podcasts, that we were going to choose a winner and they get to host a game. So that has now closed. We have chosen a winner, and we will read those reviews and talk about who won at the end of the show. So stay tuned. And then, yeah.
No, I was just going to nothing. Just go on.
All right. And then we got one more big announcement. We are going to be starting a new segment of the show called the RPG Club. And we will talk more about that at the end. Basically, it's going to be a book club for our community for a specific RPG. But we'll talk about how that's going to work and all that after we get through the main discussion. Whew, that was a lot, guys.
Yes, it was. Are you ready for the newsy news?
Let's do it.
Hear ye, gather round for all your news. Stop your clatter and listen close. Alas, you won't believe your ears. Listen close for the news.
What's first?
So one quick thing that I'd like to do before we actually jump into the real news is a brief chat around some streaming issues that have been going on, and specifically around 2 suicides that happened within the streaming community. So 2 streamers, one named Alana and another named Rekful, both committed suicide within the past couple weeks. So I just would like to have a brief reminder that if you know anybody who is going through a tough time, be there for them, help them out. There's a lot of good material out there to help with suicide prevention, such as the Suicide Prevention Lifeline. And the website is suicidepreventionlifeline.org, or there's a phone number, 1-800-273-8255. I don't know, it's kind of a sad scenario because a lot of people struggle with a lot of different things. And I just don't feel like suicide is ever really the answer. I think everybody is valuable and we should be helping each other out.
Well said.
Agreed.
Did any of this have anything to do with all the streamer controversy that has come out just lately?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure they are unrelated.
Okay.
At least indirect details.
I think when we do our next aftercast, we're going to talk about streamers and streamer controversies and just streaming in general. So look forward to that. But yeah, I agree with you, Jay. Thanks for throwing all that out there.
Yep.
And so to move on to the less upsetting pieces. So Final Fantasy IX is 20 years old.
Woohoo!
Wow.
Yep. And so the developers
Does
released
that
like
make anybody feel old?
no.
Shut up, I'm old.
The Bill said that he bought it on release day, so I imagine he feels pretty ancient.
I think I got it on release day too. My grandma gave it to me just at a random. She's like, "Oh, you might like this game."
Oh, you're a nerdy little kid. Here you go.
Yeah, you have no friends.
I don't remember. I feel like it must have been pretty soon after release, but
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. The developers released like an article where they reflected on the development of the game, talked about the artwork and just some feelings around it. And at the end, they said that they would be very interested in revisiting it if the development team ever decided on doing that. So that would be pretty interesting.
Ooh.
I doubt it'll happen because well, maybe it'll happen in 20 years when they spit out the rest of the Final Fantasy VII stuff. But
would you guys rather see like a remaster or a remake or like a full sequel?
Remake. I think I would rather see a remake.
Yeah, they finished it. They finished 9 pretty nicely. So
yeah, it's hard to imagine like where the story would go from where it ended necessarily. Although I'm sure they could come up with something.
Time travel.
I'd rather see a remake of 8 where the ending isn't so like controversial. Like, oh, what's with the ending? Is it like a weird alternate dimension or like somebody's dream or like everybody's dead?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been really chomping at the bit for any like follow up or remake of 9 necessarily. I know 9 is a lot of people's favorites, but I like it a lot, but it's like kind of middle of the road for me as far as the Final Fantasy tier list goes. But yeah, so you can go and read that article if you like. It's quite long. I didn't read it all, but yeah, lots of good insight there.
All right, so Limited Run Games announced the physical editions of Grandia. Does some bug fixes, bug fables. Okay, well, I was like, what was I thinking?
Bug.
I think of game as like bug fix automatically. Boom, bug fix. So yeah, they've got a couple games on Limited Run Games. I don't know. Have you guys ever bought anything from them before?
No.
I bought a physical edition of Celeste from them.
I think I'm gonna probably pick up Grandia Collection, maybe Yeast Origins.
Yeah,
there's
Yeast Origins.
Yeast Origins.
Yeast or yeast? Yeast or yeast?
I don't. It's
it's
your preference.
We discuss this every time. I think it's East.
Yeezy. He could be our next president.
2020, Kanye.
Did you
That's
see?
A joke. That's a joke.
Don't do
write
that.
him in.
Did you see what he was doing? I saw something. He wants to base the White House cabinet off of Wakanda.
Wow. Did not know that.
And I feel like people should tell us, like, that's not a real country, right? So
no, that attitude.
Kanye is a character.
Well, yes. Kanye,
yeah,
that doesn't work.
All right, so those games are being physically released. I need to go check that out. I've been seeing a lot of their limited run games that they have, of just games that have only been digital. So this might be your chance to. They do them very, very limited, obviously, limited name.
Yeah, so. Despite the fact that I already own digital, I'll probably pick up the Grandia as well, and that will maybe push me to finally finish the first one.
I still think that one's way better than the second one, but whatever.
No,
but yeah, that's that.
Okay, and then our last article here, Way Forward, which is kind of an indie game company, kind of not. I know they're well known for their Shantae series. They have revealed that they are working on Bakugan, Champions of Destroya. Has anyone played a Bakugan game?
I have, back in like 2003 or something like that.
How was it?
8-year-old me loved it, I guess.
The reason I threw this in there is because there was a little bit of a mild controversy around it, because Nintendo tweeted that they would be announcing what Way Forward was working on, and that it was an IP that they had never worked with before. So obviously that immediately got people excited, thinking that WayForward was making something with a Nintendo IP. A lot of people thought, like, maybe a new Wario Land or something. And then the very next day, it was like, nope, Bakugan. Nintendo even like tweeted afterwards, like, please note that this is a third-party IP. Like later, because there were so many people excited about it. It's like, man, Nintendo's marketing department, they kind of suck a lot of the time.
I didn't even know Bakugan was still popular at all.
No clue.
I forgot it was still a thing.
I don't think it is a thing anymore.
What is Bakugan? It's like based on an anime, right?
It's kind of like Beyblade meets, I don't know,
Marbles?
something better. Yeah, Beyblade meets Marbles. There you go.
Oh man, but I think it is technically an RPG. So any Bakugan fans out there, it's your time.
Time to shine.
What do we got releasing?
Well, we got a couple things.
Okay, wait, hold up. Now I'm gonna let you finish, Rich. But I did actually forget two things in my catch up, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in here, Kanye style.
Okay.
Are you just going to mic drop on me? Is that what's going to happen?
No. So the first thing is that I guest starred on a tech-related podcast last week called The Virtual World. That was only the second episode, so it's not like super structured. He's still kind of working through the kinks, but that was fun and interesting. So if you want to hear me talk about tech and code and stuff, the Virtual World podcast.
I bet they poach him off of us, Rich. Say goodbye to Jay, everybody.
I don't. Yep. It was like a 2.5 hour episode.
Oh my god!
So I don't know. I'll probably definitely go back, but I don't know if I'll be poached at all because I already talk about tech all day at work.
That makes sense.
So the second thing is that I ordered a new chair, and nice. I ordered it a month ago, and it's not shipping until the 17th of this month because of Corona. And I'm really sad about it because as I'm sitting in this chair right now, my lower back really hurts. And that made me remember that I ordered a chair. And I don't know.
I like how none of those things are related to video games.
Yeah. Well,
he had to do it. Are you going to tell me next Beyonce deserved to win? Is that what's happening?
She did, first of all.
I agree. What was the name of the podcast?
The Virtual World. So I kind of have a speech impediment, so going from my L's into my R's is pretty hard, but the Virtual World.
Well, as long as we're talking about podcasts that we guest hosted on, I keep forgetting to mention this in the show. I was on HG 101, Hardcore Gaming 101, for a review of Parasite Eve, and that episode is now live, so go check that out.
I feel like there's a trend here that I have not been invited to a podcast. So I think maybe not the greatest.
You have 2 podcasts, though. So
you do anything with that other podcast?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. All right. So what has released in last week? Crosscode, which is a PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, released July 9th. I'm kind of interested in that one.
No idea what it is.
It's an indie game, but it looked, a lot of people say it was really good. Okay. Sword Art Online. Please help me with this, Scott.
Oh,
Alicization Lycoris? Sure.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to you taking a run at that one, though.
Nope. I learned my lesson. I'll just have you do it. PS4, Xbox One, PC, July 10th. Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, Switch and PC. That's released July 10th in Europe and July 14th in North America.
I think people are excited about that, or there's a lot of people that really like that game. So,
never heard of it.
I think it's like a Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley type game.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so the next one is Void, TRLM, parentheses, semicolon, / Void Terrarium.
Jay, you can't write any code in Google Docs, right?
Nope, I guess not.
No, well, it's an interface, guys.
I guess
it's not the implementation. It's just the interface.
So you got PS4 on the Switch, July 10th in Europe and July 14th in North America.
So I'm looking at the the page for that Void TRRLM Void Terrarium, And like, it's kind of funny. Like the game cover is written like code with comments. Like it has
That's
some
awesome.
commented out, like a little comment underneath the void part. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. Game looks interesting, at least.
We should look into it just because of how interesting the title is.
Save the last remaining human from the dangerous. It says save the last remaining human from the dangerous of the toxic world.
All right. I would have expected something about code, but
Yeah, way off left field. So Jay, what's coming up coming up here soon?
So on July 17th, which is when my chair is supposed to be to get mailed out, is Paper Mario: The Origami King on Switch, and then July 22nd, Vagrant: The Riven Realms on PC is entering early access.
nice. I don't think I'm going to pick up Paper Mario immediately just because it's still not what I want from Paper Mario, but I'll play the last one, Color Splash, at some point and then probably pick it up. It looks good. It just doesn't look like... I've talked about this before, but Nintendo does not understand what people want from Paper Mario. But
I don't think they understand what people want from anything except Zelda.
That,
Zelda's the only game they seem to execute well on.
There's Smash.
Well, that's not an easy, or that's a hard game to like screw up, though.
That's true.
You just keep adding characters to it and they fight each other.
I like that.
Yep.
So, with all that out of the way, let's take a quick break before we get to the main discussion.
Everybody good to keep going?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And we are back. So let's get on to the main discussion, next gen gaming and beyond. So to kind of kick us off on this topic, let's first start out just discussing the next gen consoles. So a month ago at this point or something like that was when a lot of the details were released around the PS5. Is that timing about right?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, it's PS5 and the Series X all had information leaked out. Still no word on the price point about what's going to cost. There's a lot of speculation on it. I'm thinking in the two different versions of the game systems, you get the PlayStation 5. You have the diskless option, and you have the one that has a disk drive to it. I'm thinking the disk drive is going to be anywhere between 400 to 500, I would say, and then diskless would probably be 300 to 400. Same versus with the Xbox Series X because they seem to play off each other pretty well. A lot of speculation of PlayStation being a lot higher of cost of it, but I think they learned their lesson from the PlayStation 3 mistake that they did, which was like $700. No one freaking wanted that. I mean, that's why Xbox 360 won that war on the consoles, because they were like, oh yeah, no one wants to pay $700 for a console. Here's ours for $400. And it worked out better.
Like a potential leak of what people were saying.
I've seen some pretty crazy prices out there, like 600, 700. Yeah, I think it's less likely that they're going to cost that much. But whenever you kind of think about the hardware that's in it, like it might end up being that way because they are going to have SSDs. And from what I can tell, their CPUs are pretty good. I think they only have 2 cores versus most high-end laptops have like 4 cores. But if you think about it, I think that actually might be enough to bring it down to like because a mid-level laptop, mid-range laptop's going to be around $500, $600.
Yeah, I'm looking at a Forbes article where apparently Amazon might have linked the price or leaked it. I see $399 for the digital edition, $499 for the regular plus tax, of course. That's lower than I was expecting, to be honest, and I'm happy with that price personally.
Yeah. Well, because you got to think about the price on it, where they're not going to release a console that expensive because no one's going to buy it.
No one can buy it right now.
Yeah, no one definitely can buy it. They got other things to worry about, but there's no, like, they have to look back at what happened to the PlayStation 3 when they did that, because no one bought that stuff. That's just, the gaming community is a little bit more frugal with money, I would assume.
Console
consoles.
gaming, at least. Most
Yeah.
PC gamers are freaking apparently rich.
Yeah,
or
those guys.
in debt like crazy.
Yeah, they're selling their blood and everything. But yeah, the console gamers, we don't spend that much money on a console. So,
have you guys seen how like physically big the PS5 is?
not really.
It's huge. It's like bigger than any of the Xboxes. It's like, you should look up a size comparison if you can at some point, but it's like, wow, I'm not even sure. People might have a hard time like fitting this in their cubbies or wherever they need it to go.
It's probably got a big ass fan in it.
I hope
if it's anything like the PS4.
So I think so. I think probably the most exciting. Well, I have no idea what kind of graphics cards they threw in the PS5 or Series X, but I'm hoping it's pretty beefy ones. But with SSD, you kind of open a lot of doors with how quickly assets and general code and stuff can be loaded for a game. So if they take advantage of it well, you're talking like no loading time, like being able to load huge assets in a relatively quick time. And with that, you're going to like really be maxing out a 2-core CPU and whatever virtual card's going to be in there. So I really hope that they have like these like monolithic fans.
Yeah, I hope so too. Hopefully there's like 2 or 3 fans, because that sucks about the PS4 is it even like if you've got it freestanding away from like places where the heat can get trapped easily, I still have it like chugs along and like sounds like it's going to take off sometimes.
I saw a Reddit post where a dude took his apart and looked at the fan on the inside of it, and it was just like a quarter of an inch thick of dust. And he said once he cleaned that out, it didn't start like it didn't sound like it was about to take off like a plane.
Yeah, Cameron actually told me to do that. Like he said, he did it to his PS5 and or PS4, and it fixed it for a while anyway.
I don't know if I feel comfortable taking mine apart though.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I tried to take apart my Vita recently, and that did not go well. So
yeah, you should be doing that again.
Yeah. Have you guys seen they did the reveal of like what the PS5 box art will look like earlier this week?
I did, and I was like, okay, so I'm not okay.
A lot of people are. The main difference is like the PS5 bar at the top is white now, but a lot of people are shitting on it. They're like, "This looks awful." I'm like, it just looks like a video game case to me.
Yeah, people like that honestly want to pick apart stuff like that, or just they get nothing on their life going on, I want to assume.
If you put the white controller next to the white system with the white game case, it actually looks pretty aesthetically pleasing to me.
Probably going to end up buying the digital one because it's going to be a little bit cheaper.
Boo.
Because I'm cheap like that. And then I'll just never have to worry about the case.
I could never do that.
No, yeah, me neither.
Well, at least you can talk about the digital one when the time comes.
Well, I'm not very fancy with how my game shelf is organized because I have a kid that comes in and like just ruins it like every 2 days. Yeah. So they're just like slammed up against some stuff like hidden, and I'm just like, oh, this is just taking up room.
Yeah, that gives me pain because mine is like a work of art. I'll send you guys a picture later.
And like half of the little paper sheets that go in the art for the game, half of them's gone just because she like takes them out and they end up getting ripped up. Like
no.
And so I'm like this is useless now. I have no reason to have this case now.
Have you looked into any adoption agencies or anything like that?
No.
All right, so I've been playing Last of Us 2 lately, and that game looks fucking phenomenal. Like before I was thinking, okay, next gen's not going to be that big of a difference, but like honestly, if you had told me that The Last of Us 2 was running on a PS5, I would have believed you. So one of the big things about the PS5 is like, and the Xbox Series X is they're supposed to be able to like load everything immediately, dynamically. You don't like, a lot of times they use a technique to where like things that you can't see in games aren't actually loaded, or they'll introduce like weird loading screens where it's like you're going through a tunnel or like sidling through a crevice, a la FF7 remake. And hopefully that things will like eliminate these new consoles will eliminate that kind of stuff. So how do we think that that's going to like affect gaming?
So I think it's pretty awesome that you feel like The Last of Us 2 is already on like the PS5. Because if you kind of look at the differences between the PS4 and the PS5, I think, I guess, like I said, I don't know about the graphics card, but the change from a a moving part hard drive to the solid state alone, I think is going to be pretty crazy, just from the speed of how much things can be loaded. But also, like, I wonder how big the memory difference is, like the RAM difference. I think the PS5 is only going to have like 16 only. It's going to have 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is quite a bit. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that 16 is enough to be able to like really load all the assets you need.
Yeah.
Like how you were saying that the PS5 is going to be able to do, like load everything all at once. I kind of find that hard to believe just on 16 gigabytes of RAM, but it also depends on your virtual card.
Yeah. Well, one analogy that really like hammered it home for me is apparently Spider-Man on the PS4. They said that the speed of which Spider-Man could move through New York in that game was basically as fast as he could possibly move and still load everything like in time, the city around him. And Spider-Man is really like, you're fast in that game. So that surprised me because I'm not sure I would want to be much faster. But they said that on the PS5, that Spider-Man could be like the speed of a jet plane if they wanted it to. So
yeah,
that kind of like opened my eyes to what the difference is going to be.
Well, and I think the PS5 plus Unreal Engine 5, I think is the right, or yeah, it was 5, right? The one that they had a demo of that was just immaculate.
Oh,
yeah. I think mixing those two things together, and we are going to have I feel like we're going to be at the pinnacle of gaming, because I just don't see how it can get much better outside of, hey, actor, come and act this out, and then somehow we'll have like real life stuff. And then that kind of sucks. I don't see myself liking that.
I remember thinking when the PS3 and 360 came out, being like, I don't really see how graphics can get much better than this. How far we have come.
Oh yeah.
And then they did.
They keep getting better. Well, how else is it going to affect games though? As far as like, what are we looking at in the future?
They're going to be bigger. Games are definitely going to be bigger. Probably. I'm hesitant to say they're going to be more expensive, but they are certainly going to get harder to make, harder to design, bigger in general, which I think at some point is going to have to drive how much a game costs.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think it just came out this week. There's a rumor that PS5 games might be $70 rather than $60.
I've heard that.
I mean, I feel like that's a rumor that's been going around for a long time, but like it has resurfaced in particular this week with the PS5.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I make enough money, so I'm fine with it. But I have sympathy for the people who are already like having to save up on the side in order to buy games.
Yeah.
Not to sound cliched, but like hour to entertainment ratio is still like the best of any medium with video games typically.
Oh yeah.
So I think it's worth it. And, unfortunately, that price hike will probably not go to the people it should, if I had to guess. But
Yeah.
But hopefully, maybe it won't even be a thing. We'll see.
So, what do you guys think the future for the Switch is, or Nintendo? I feel like the PS5 and the Series X are going to be setting some bar, and then Nintendo's going to be like, yeah, we're not going to, we can't match that. Let's just keep, we'll slowly make the Switch a lot better, but keep it handheld and stuff like that. I think that's kind of their niche right now.
Yeah.
I agree.
Graphically, Nintendo is always a generation or two behind as far as hardware power. I think Nintendo said recently that the Switch is only halfway into its life cycle. Who knows if that's actually true or not? So I don't envision any kind of Switch 2 coming up anytime soon. Although I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Switch Pro. But
that's been a rumor for a while.
Yeah, but even then, it's hard to imagine a Switch Pro being even as powerful as a regular PS4 or anything like that.
Never know.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I've seen some. There are some phones that are pretty powerful. Maybe not. I don't know if they're Switch powerful, but
yeah.
I think if they were smart and did it just right, they'd end up being able to have something that's pretty hardcore handheld.
Yeah, I just know as soon as I buy that second Switch for Corey that they'll announce the Switch Pro 2 days later, probably.
You're like, I'm taking it back.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine. You never know with Nintendo. They're always being innovative and doing something crazy. And sometimes they're successful, like the Wii and the Switch, and sometimes it's a bomb, like the Wii U. So it's just hard to say where they would go. I would love to see. The main thing about Nintendo is I wish they would get on the same page, with their online stuff, as far as being as good and robust as Sony and Microsoft.
I wish the Switch game prices would get lower.
You get that Nintendo tax.
I know. And honestly, I think they have kind of nailed it with the Switch, being able to go back and forth between handheld and not handheld. And
unless you got a Switch Lite.
Yeah, unless you're a loser.
Hey, I enjoy the shit out of it. All right.
But I also feel like, I don't know, my Switch is kind of breaking a little bit. None of the controller, none of the Joy-Cons I have fit into it well anymore. So they wiggle, and if you wiggle it just slightly, the Switch thinks it's been disconnected. So it's incredibly difficult to play it in handheld mode. And
I have one pair of Joy-Con that's like that.
All of mine are like that.
That sucks. Hopefully it's not just your Switch then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel like it's just my Switch, because one set of my Joy-Cons are very new. Within the last 6 months we had to buy them, and we don't play it enough for them to have deprecated so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, I'm a little skeptical on that.
Which is weird.
But at the same time, I still have the first generation Switch, so maybe it's just a part that hasn't fully manifested into.
Well, there's also the Joy-Con drift issue that has plagued many people, including myself, with that particular pair of Joy-Con. And it's really surprising. Nintendo is kind of known for the quality of their hardware, dropping DSs off of buildings and stuff like that. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess with the Switch, they sort of missed the mark a little bit, unfortunately, as far as the hardware durability goes. I mean, I love the shit out of my Switch still, but
I think it'd be really interesting. So I think this would be really cool to look into. What if you had the Switch and its dock, but the dock had more hardware in it, it had external memory, external CPU, external graphics cards. So whenever you plug in the Switch, it then gets access to all of those resources. So it doesn't have to I feel like whenever I play in handheld mode, Xenoblade looks great or something like that. And then I plug it in, and I don't know, it just doesn't look as good
because of the
it has to
Yeah. Well, some games do run a lot better when docked. But on the other hand, you're looking at it on a smaller screen, which helps a lot too. I don't know. I feel like it's funny because even with the next gen consoles, some people have come out and said, no, this game will not run at 60 FPS 1080p. It's like it's going to be locked to 30 FPS, which I don't really care about so much myself, but I know a lot of people are like, what the hell? Why are you we're getting this more powerful hardware and it still can't do this, quote, basic thing expected.
Yeah.
I think so I think frames per second is not really important unless you are like a competitive gamer.
Yeah.
So
I have a hard time even noticing, although I will say the games that run on 4K on my PS4 Pro look phenomenal.
I don't know if I've ever been able to point out the difference.
Yeah.
I don't think I have either.
I used to be on that. I used to not be able to tell the difference between like 480p and 720p. So I guess I've been more discerning over the years. So thinking about RPGs, how are these things going to affect RPGs in particular?
So it's hard to say. I can imagine games like that are like Western RPGs, Skyrim, Oblivion, God, what is some more? I feel like that Fallout, Bethesda. I feel like there's a lot more potential for those type of games and for them to just look better. Because going back, Skyrim kind of looks like garbage. When in 2011, it was like, oh, this is amazing. But overall, it looks like garbage. Because
I think I read the other day that Skyrim has been confirmed for the PS5.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But it's like, it's so huge. It's usually those open world games take a hit in quality. Like if Final Fantasy VII Remake was open world, it would not have looked as good. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, and there's already people complaining about certain sections of how that game looked.
Yeah. And so I think we are going to be able to see railroad game style quality in open world. So think graphics for Final Fantasy VII, but completely open world.
So what if they brought 15 over to that? What if they actually did 15 on PS5?
I wouldn't buy it.
Well, whatever.
I bet they will. I don't know if they'll like do any significant upgrades, but
I mean, think about it, because 15 was so bogged down with the loading times. I mean, it was stupid. And because they try to do open world like that, and it just didn't really pan out. I mean, it looked great, but putting it on that console now, what would it do to it?
Probably take away all the load times.
Yeah, because anytime you do the fast travel, it's like, okay, I'm going to sit here for a few minutes now.
Yeah, like 10 minutes.
Yeah, so fast travel would probably be like instantaneous.
That would be awesome. Side note, I have a friend that started FF15 recently, having never played it before, and he does not like it so far.
Son of a bitch.
he was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay. So first, did he watch Kingsglaive?
No, I don't think so.
Wait, watch that.
I think he might have actually.
Gotta watch the what's the anime?
The Brotherhood.
Brotherhood. You gotta watch that first too. Gotta watch Kingsglaive, Brotherhood, then play the game.
Yes.
Yep. Actually, wait, hold a second. Brotherhood, 15 minutes or maybe an hour or 15, because then you get to the resort, and then all of a sudden, then you got to watch Kingsglaive, because that goes on while you're out running around. Then you can go back to finish it.
Rich is going to make a flow chart for us.
Oh, there's a flow chart. There is a flow chart.
It's funny.
Well, yeah, just the elimination of load time in general is amazing in like many of these games. Because it seems like load times are getting longer than they used to be, which is not how things should work, I would think. But
well, I mean, so consoles, current generation consoles are using hardware that computers were using a decade ago.
Yeah, that's true. And then as far as like JRPGs go, it's hard to imagine like how these things are going to affect those, other than, hopefully better graphics. In my experience, most JRPGs this gen don't actually look that good. Like
I don't even know any JRPGs this gen besides maybe 7
7 remake, 15. I guess those look
Your
pretty
Tales
good.
of Berseria, your Tales of Zestria.
Oh, those do not look good at all. But those were PS3
I don't
originally.
think Persona 5 looks good. The art style is amazing, but the actual graphics are kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Zestria was a PS4, so was Berseria.
I'm pretty sure that they were originally PS3.
I'm trying to think of more this gen JRPGs, but usually they're like in a very like anime, like cartoony style. It's the Western ones that push it a lot. So maybe, I don't know if it's because these are like kind of lower budget games or if it's because the devs are phoning it in, or maybe we can expect better this gen.
I think we can expect better. At least I sure freaking hope so. There's that new Tales game that's coming out sometime in the future. I can't remember the name of it, but it looks dope.
Tales of Arise.
Yes, I am really hoping
It got delayed, didn't it?
That doesn't surprise me, but I'm hoping the graphics are awesome. And then that new IP, most likely new IP, code name, whatever it is, for Square Enix,
Thea.
that looks good too.
Yeah, it does. One thing I wanted to mention is Xbox or Microsoft seems to have a totally different strategy than Sony as of late. They are focused all in on like accessibility of games, like being able to go back and play any game you want anytime. They're making everything like backwards compatible. You can buy a Xbox One game and upgrade it to Series X for free. Very, very consumer friendly. They don't have as many exclusives, obviously, but it's just interesting how they've sort of pivoted into a brand new strategy.
I think Sony's going to end up pivoting that way too.
They'll have to at some point.
They seem so backwards to me on backwards compatibility, just in general.
Because there's some idiot probably up there. Yeah, there's some idiot up there going, nobody wants backwards compatibility. That's just a lie. There's a whole crowd of people outside their place going, just give us backwards compatibility. Just don't worry about those guys. That's just a small group. Don't worry about them, sir.
Didn't that conference they did a month ago, didn't it show that at least 1 or 2 of the games will have the free upgrade on PlayStation? Or am I making that up?
I don't know.
Well, we're still in the middle of the Summer Games Fest, and I think here in the next month or so, we're going to get another Sony and another Microsoft conference. So it'll be interesting to keep our eyes on that. But Jay, you said you wanted to talk about VR too.
Yeah, totally. So I think a lot of people think that like VR gaming is going to at some point be the future of gaming, and that all games are going to be in VR and people aren't going to ever, play games on the TV. And I think that's overall just wrong. I think that Half-Life, Axel, do you remember the name of that new
Alex?
So I think that game is probably the game that did VR the best, according to a lot of critics. However, I don't think VR technology is going to be so great that it's going to emulate real life. I think a lot of people have the assumption that technology is going to advance so far that it's going to be like Ready Player One, and I just don't see that happening because if you think about what games render, there is no 3D in gaming.
Yeah,
there is 2D with the perception of 3D. It's just shaping pixels a specific way or at specific angles to give the illusion of 3D environments. And if you don't truly have depth, you can't emulate it. It's not going to end up looking like real life. And I think that's probably going to end up being the limitation of it. And so I think Half-Life Alyx might be like probably the best it'll be in VR. But again, some people just can't play it because it makes them dizzy. It gives them headaches just because your eyes have to try and make sense of this 2D environment that looks like 3D.
I can't do it.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of hype, just like I think there's a lot of hype around artificial intelligence and like that being the future. And I just don't see it.
Did any of us have any significant experience with VR?
I did.
What have you done?
Well, I tried I tried Resident Evil 7. That was okay.
I've heard
Little
that's
jump
good.
scares. Yeah, that was okay because it's not fast paced moving or anything like that. And then I tried I guess they came with the PS4 VR, came with like a group of games or something.
Yeah.
And one of them was like a fast paced mech shootout kind of thing. And I did like this up and then down really fast. Holy crap, I about threw up. Yeah, no, it was not a good time. Did
One
not
thing
like
about
that.
just like an inherent thing about VR that I don't like is it's kind of hard, if not impossible, to play that with other people. Like if I was to pick up a VR game, it's not something that I could play with Corey, which I don't have a lot of time for the games that like that in general these days.
It's just terrible.
But I do think it's going to keep advancing, and it's going to be a while before people stop pushing it, if ever.
Yeah.
It just made me sick.
Well, I think most people who are pushing for it just have surface level knowledge about it. And whenever you have surface level knowledge about any topic, you don't really understand limitations.
Yeah. I have a friend who is actually works in VR development, and I think he just recently created a technology that allows for eye tracking while playing VR. So that's really cool. So I get like updates from him sometimes on how the field is progressing.
Yeah. I mean, if at some point they are able to emulate, like with a 2D plane, emulate 3D, emulate depth to like near perfection to where it's unrecognizable, then I think that would be pretty crazy.
I've heard
I also think-
Astrobot is really good too.
I don't think I've seen that.
I want to play Beat Saber as well.
Well, sure, that'd be fine.
Yeah. Well, you're in a static position, I guess, but
Yeah.
sounds like good cardio anyway. Have there been a lot of like VR RPGs?
No.
I'm trying to think of like how that would even work necessarily.
Does Half-Life Alyx count as one, or is that more?
Not sure. I'm sure some people would consider it one.
At that point, I feel like any VR game is a role-playing game.
Yeah. I guess you could do like turn-based battles in VR, but that sounds like it would be weird or not very exciting.
Oh,
I don't know. Well, is there anything else we wanted to talk about how the future of gaming is going to affect everything?
Nope. I think that pretty much wraps it up. So I think the hardware we're going in with the next gen is going to really up the quality of all genres of gaming. And then I think VR is just kind of like a hype train of nothingness that's going to end up.
It'll fizzle out.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. I guess we'll move on. All right, we have got a kind of a longer outro section this week. We've got some things we need to cover and talk about. First things first, it's time to go over the review competition. So like we said earlier, we held a competition, people submitting reviews on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher, and the winner that we select will be able to haste a game on the list. So basically choose one of the next few games that Rich and Bill have to play. And who knows, maybe Jay and I will join in if we so desire.
It's always me that have to play these games, but okay.
Your lot in life.
Yep.
So we're going to go ahead and read some of these. We have 4 reviews to cover. First off, Caslow25. He writes a review called Golden Adventure. The brave berserker Rich and the salacious sage Bill set out on an adventure to overcome the Golden Challenge. Games of yore, many of which have been lost to me. In their early career, the duo had explored many dungeons and ultimately toppled the archfiend, Alan. Search for the fabled lost books of East. The two have to separate on a quest to double space dungeons, one being deep within the Star Ocean and the Aljol star system. Upon return to Earth, their saga continues as they join forces with the two young seed recruits, the searing Samurai Jay and the studious strategist Scott. Tune in each week as the merry band of adventurers take on challenges, both old and new.
I think he's got that pretty nailed down. Who is who?
Yeah, that was really a really well written review. I kind of got a kick out of that one when I saw it.
I think he chose Samurai for Jay because of his hair.
He is our local samurai.
Yes.
Do you want to take the next one, Rich?
Yeah, awesome. So this one is great podcast that is only getting better from Punch Drunk Dave.
You're welcome.
Yep. If you enjoy nostalgia from retro RPGs or even modern RPGs, then this podcast is well worth your time. Listen to Scott, Rich, and Bill discuss games they are currently playing and reviewing is very entertaining. Looking forward to their future episodes.
Nice.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's like
Punch Drunk
somebody
Dave.
slept out.
All right, you can take the next one, Jay.
So excellent podcast for any RPG fan by Harris LL81. I've really enjoyed this podcast for the following reasons: wonderful community of listeners, very knowledgeable and funny hosts, and a good variety of game reviews. This is the only podcast that I'm a patron of, and I thoroughly enjoy all of the benefits that come along with my subscription. I especially enjoy their casual deep dives into RPGs as well as other video games. The hosts have a fun rapport and excellent banter every week. I would recommend to any RPG fan. P.S. It is now law that the game of the decade is Jackbox Party Pack 3. It is written.
It is written. That is
It
set
is
in stone.
known.
What is that thing from The Mandalorian? This is the way. This
You
is
do
what
not
it
know
is.
the way. This is the way.
Yes, this is the way.
And then we've got RPGs and Death Metal. The title is The Best RPG Podcast Around. Wow, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Every episode of the RPG After Years provides in-depth looks and thoughtful conversations on some of the biggest games and topics in the genre, and occasionally outside of it. The hosts are clearly knowledgeable and experts on the subject, but keep everything on a level even a more casual fan can enjoy, making the podcast a great fit for both newer gamers and the devoted followers of the genre. With a mix of both old school and recently released titles, the show offers something for everyone. Don't miss out. Thank you, RPGs and Death Metal. I don't know that we're experts, but
I would say the same
Thank you
thing.
for that. Come on.
Yeah.
We're totally experts, guys.
Yeah,
I have a
totally.
bachelor's degree in gaming podcasts.
that's what we do.
Actually, I just saw that Punch Drunk Dave also left a review on Stitcher. So thanks for the double effort, Punch Drunk Dave. He says, great podcast for RPG enthusiasts. RPGs, check. Dope intro music, check. Hosts who enjoy discussing the games they play, check. If you're a fan of retro RPGs and modern gaming, then this podcast is for you. Very much looking forward to their future episodes. You guys are making me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, which I think this is really funny. The fact that when we first started this with the golden years, we asked for reviews, we could hardly get them. So
well, I was worried because all of these came in like the past week. So
yeah,
I was thinking we were going to have to like pretend that we didn't actually run this contest at all.
yep, just ignore it. So,
Yeah,
whoops.
never bring it up again.
Yeah, I think all of this is really cool, and definitely appreciate all the reviews.
Yes,
it's kind of
thank you.
funny because like we're not necessarily doing this to like be super popular and famous and try and make money or have influence, because I mean JRPGs and RPGs are not like the place for any of that. So I like that people recognize that we're just guys that like to talk about it. Like we're not really trying to go out and do any one thing or like impress anybody. We're just trying to have a good time talking about things that we love.
Yep.
And
Bill.
if we happen to get rich and famous and all that on the way, then so be it. I mean, not going to deny that.
I want to be famous. It's okay. It's my goal. I want to be Kardashian famous. I just have to put out a sex tape, and then I will be.
I'll buy it.
Wow. Wow. All right. Well, do you want to announce the winner, Jay?
I will. So the winner is Caslow 25.
Yay!
Congrats. Be very gentle, please. For the love of God, be gentle.
This
on the game
was
pick.
yeah, this was hard to choose between because like all those reviews were good, and it's just Gaslow got like really creative with his, so we had to get it to him. But hopefully nobody's disappointed. We'll probably do something similar to this again in the future. I don't know what Caslow 25 will pick for his haste game, but we should be able to announce that.
Well, don't be gentle.
Find
the worst one. Find the worst one and haste it.
God.
All right. So the other big thing we want to talk about is the RPG Club. This was an idea that manifested in our patron only chat in Discord, and it sounded like a really good idea. So basically, you can think of this as a like a book club, but for RPGs for the show. So how this is going to work is basically each host, us three and Bill, are going to submit one game, and each patron also gets to submit one game. Then we're going to put it to a vote. Everybody will get 3 votes to spread across all the nominated games, and the winner will be the game that we pick. So how that's going to work is the chosen game will be broken into small chunks that everyone must have completed prior to the recording. So like every 2 weeks or so. And then every other week, we're not going to do the big long catch-up segment that we do at the beginning of the show, and instead do like a 15, 20-minute segment at the end of the show covering the RPG Club. And it'll be at the end so that people that aren't necessarily interested in that can go ahead and sign off the show when they want. But basically, it's just we're going to play through small segments of RPGs and discuss them in depth for that section.
Can
So
I
what do you guys
pick a
think about
list?
this?
Can I pick a list game?
I think Bill said no.
Oh, son of
Because
a!
I said Chrono Trigger. I wanted to put Chrono Trigger up there, and Bill's like, "Oh, it's already on the list."
He
Can't be
meant
proved.
because that was a patron haste, so it's already within the next few games. I think that's slated.
Oh, we should do it now instead.
But yeah,
He's
I
not
thought
here to
this was
defend himself.
I thought this was a really good idea. I can't remember who exactly came up with the idea, so I apologize for that. But I'm kind of excited about this. Like as soon as we started talking about it, I was like, yeah, this is something we should do.
Yeah, it is pretty fun. I'm in a book club for work, and it's just like read chapter 1 this week. We'll talk about chapter 1 on Monday. And so I think it's pretty cool. Like we're gonna play such and such game, get up to this part of the game, and then I think it'll be interesting on how we decide to break it up. Maybe we will take like how long to beat, split it up into chunks, and then they get 5 hours in.
We'll have to be pretty small chunks just because it's hard for me to get anywhere in 2 weeks on a game. But
it's because you play like 30 games at a time.
Yeah,
that's true. I think that actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think this might have been Punch Drunk Dave's idea. So if that's true, thank you, Punch Drunk Dave. Anyway, so that's another new patron benefit is you get to participate in the process of what game we will do for the RPG Club and which games are nominated and which gets picked. So I think that's another cool benefit for patrons. And so hopefully but everybody's welcome to participate, of course. And I feel like there's one more thing I wanted to say. I haven't talked to you guys about this, but I think it would be fun to like have some of the listeners on for those segments if possible. Like maybe
I agree.
Not every time, but that would be really cool. So if you're interested in doing that, let us know. But anyway, the idea is we're going to start this up in August once JRPG July is over. So we'll have more updates on this club segment in the coming couple weeks. Whew. So yeah, ready to finally go into the outro, Phyllis?
So ready. So next week, the topic may be how long is too long for an RPG, and that was literally just proposed.
I just watched Rich type it into the doc.
And I think it sounds like a fine topic. We'll probably talk about Persona.
You're right. I'm cool with that. That's a good idea, Rich.
It literally just popped in my head. I'm like, oh my God, type.
Well, if we can't pick up a game like Persona for the book club, because then it'd be like a year-long RPG book club.
Right.
Great.
Okay, so where can they reach us, Rich?
All right. So you can reach us at our Discord channel. The link to get into that Discord is in the description of the show. We also do tweet that out very often. Come join the conversations. We do have a secret channel for our Patreon members, but we also have a lot of different channels that you guys can discuss various games, series in there. And it's pretty lively. It really is. It's grown quite a bit.
I know that we say this every week that it's getting lively in there, but it's more true every week.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So don't forget to rate and review us. We did just have that review competition, which is over, but that doesn't mean you can't go and review us. Preferably with good stuff. If you have issues with the show, maybe send us an email, let us know what's wrong. We'll try to mitigate it. Send us a review. It helps us out a lot, gets us further up the iTunes charts.
I actually cracked myself up reading some of the old reviews and trying to look for the new ones.
There was one lady, Judy, she hates Bill.
Yeah.
Well,
that's understandable.
Me and Judy are two of a kind. And no, I'm just kidding. I am actually looking forward with all these reviews we got to see like how that affects the chart positions in the next couple of weeks. So we'll see. So yeah, we talked about it before. Our Patreon is still going strong. Just a reminder, you can get early episode access, ad-free episodes. You can participate live in the video version. I think we might move that to Twitch soon. We've sort of been playing around with that idea. We just want more people to be able to participate in that, but we'll talk about that. We got the Aftercast. I think we're going to try to record one soon about streaming in general. Like I mentioned, streamers, streamer controversies, streaming, all that. We got lots of extra non-RPG reviews. And as I mentioned just a moment ago, new benefits to where you can help pick what games we will be playing for the RPG Club. So yeah, you can find all that and more at patreon.com/RPG After Years. Thanks so much, everybody, for the support.
And for the month of July, we're participating in JRP July Years. So basically, we're just taking this opportunity to kind of knock out a couple of games that we've had in the backlog that we've been a little bit too lazy to play. But the RPG July does have a bigger following than just the RPG Gears podcast. So participate with us in that. Pick an RPG game. Try to finish it within the month of July and see how many you can rack up.
And don't forget to use the hashtag JRPG July and JRPG July Years. And if you remember to tag our Twitter account, RPG Years, for that. So we'll just to make sure we all see it and we can get the word out there for everybody.
Yep. So speaking of that, you can find me at JAY like Scott said, you can find the show at RPG Years.
You can find me at HaleBlue1569.
And you can find me at the Scott Spot.
And if you feel compelled, you could reach our producer, Bill, at Metunica, METUNNICA. So thanks everybody for tuning in. The future of gaming is exciting and full of a bunch of different crazy opportunities. So I hope you enjoyed our talks around what we think is coming up next. So until next time, I'm Jay.
I'm Rich.
And I'm Scott.
We'll see you around for episode 24 of the RPG After Years.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
I think that was pretty good, guys.
Totally.
I liked it.